Today we are gathered here to celebrate the life of my father, Brendan Patrick McLaughlin. Brendan was a father, husband, registered nurse, chef, and friend. There wasn't a day that goes by that he didn't embrace all of these personas. My father has always instilled life lessons and viewed all experiences as a teaching moment. One story he shared with me was about a Navy recruitment commercial he had seen when he was a young man. In the commercial, the narrator stated, "If someone wrote a book about you, would anyone read it?" My father found this to be a very perplexing question. At this time in his life, he was very misguided and was not sure what his future would bestow. He didn't go out to his nearest Navy recruitment office, but he did accept the challenge to live a meaningful and interesting life. He would often bring up this commercial as motivation to pursue different opportunities in life. I can honestly say that my father's life was a good read, full of inspiration and knowledge. His life actually read like a book. Ultimately, my father would become triumphant in life and viewed as the hero. He wasn't just any hero, he was my hero. He lived his life how he wanted and never took no for an answer. This helped shape his character as he taught my sister and I about love, sacrifice, hard work, and dedication. These are the attributes that helped him become the man he wanted to be. These are also the traits he passed down to his children, and we continue to abide by them to prolong my father's legacy. As most of you may know, family was what my father valued most. My father didn't grow up in a typical American family. He was raised by a single mother, Megan, and was very close to his maternal grandmother, Genevieve. Brendan never met his biological father and had very few male role models. However, these two great women did their best to mold my father into the man we know today. He loved his mother dearly and never forgot the sacrifices his mother made to help him flourish in life. She often worked two jobs to provide for her son. She even took out a loan to send him to a prestigious Jesuit high school. Unfortunately, Brendan's mother passed away at the age of 45 when he was 27 years old. Luckily, Brendan had a great companion with him at this time named Stephanie to help him with the grieving process. Stephanie would become his wife and my mother. She helped my father realize his true potential by convincing him to go back to school. She was not only the love of his life, but also his biggest supporter and motivator. At this point in time, Brendan was in his sixth year cooking in upscale restaurants. He was very talented, but he felt he was wandering aimlessly. He had the title of sous chef, but was underpaid and overworked. He hated the hours he worked because he missed out on a lot of social and family events that most of us take for granted. My father continued to cook for a few more years when Stephanie shared the news that she was pregnant. The news of a child coming was a very joyful and life-changing moment. My father finally made the life-altering decision when I was 2 years old to go back to school. He had always dreamed of opening his own restaurant, but the love for his family was more important. Having never known his own father, Brendan strived to be the best dad he could, which meant finding a more stable career. My mother was the architect in getting my father to go back. She told him he was smart and passionate enough to embark on a new career. This was the same advice Brendan's mother would often share with him. Finally, my dad listened. He started out at community college and attended many open houses on careers to choose from. He finally settled in nursing because deep down inside, he wanted to help people. He also liked that nursing provided stability and the opportunity to change fields. It's a selfless profession that often gets overshadowed. My father valued this. He was very ambitious and hated the idea of becoming stagnant. It took him almost 8 years to complete his bachelor's in nursing, but he did it. He worked full-time and was still able to accomplish his goal. I can still remember my father studying relentlessly on the weekends, but still making time to spend with the family. I still don't know how he did it, but we are all very proud of him. Just because my dad was now a nurse, it did not stop him from cooking. I can still remember my father's mac and cheese, which was my favorite. But my favorite meal was when my father would make breakfast. Breakfast for dinner was always a special time. Some days would be bacon, eggs, and hash browns. Other days it would be cream chip beef, sausage and biscuits, or pancakes. Everything made from scratch. You could taste the love in my father's food. Others may argue about their favorites. My mother's was his mussels with white wine, or his peanut butter pie. My Aunt Kelly loved his lobster bisque, and his friends would rave about his braised short ribs. Everybody loved my father's cooking, and we are all going to miss these meals almost as much as we miss him. This leads me up to my father's greatest accomplishment, his children. Every life decision my father made was a precise calculation to provide a better life for his children. I didn't realize this until I was older, but the long hours of school and work were all for us. He wanted to provide a stable life and teach us by setting a good example that you can achieve anything if you put your mind to it. He continued to make time for Quinn and myself, whether it was attending Sixers, Eagles, and Union games or shooting hoops in the driveway with me. He attended plays and movies with my sister. No matter what, we could always count on him and share anything with him. Sometimes he would get upset about our decisions, but he was always supportive. I can still remember when I told him I didn't want to play baseball anymore. He was visibly upset. He loved baseball. I told him I wanted to play lacrosse instead. The next day, he took me to Dick's Sporting Goods and we purchased equipment for the upcoming lacrosse season. He even bought himself a lacrosse stick at a second-hand store so he could help me practice. I could go on forever about the special times we all spent with him. There are too many to mention, but they were all cherished. I would like to leave you with one of my father's favorite poems, titled An Irish Blessing. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face and rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the hollow of his hand. Goodbye, Dad. You will always be loved, but never forgotten.